Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyoti Gamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Mother, O Brahmarupi Mother, the Divine Mother, Brahman, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, gods of all religion, and the prophets thereon, Mahavatar Babaji, the deathless master, our gurus, Paramahansa Yogananda, Sri Sri Yukteswar Giri, Sri Sri Lahiri Mahasaya, Swami Sri Vivekananda, Holy Mother Sharda, Paramahansa Ramakrishna, and the Brahman in each one of you, and the aspiring knower and the known. I pray to you all. May the Mother, the Gurus hold our hand and make this session fruitful and knowable to all of us. Jai Guru. So welcome to you all. Good to see you. Namaskar. It is been a naturally urge because all of us would like to know that supreme for which we all have taken up the journey. And through the Mandukya, we have come to know. Be aware of the waking state. So we have the waker and the waking state. We have the dreamer and the dream state. We have the deep sleeper and the deep sleep state. And we all are aware as advanced Vedantists that there is the fourth state, the Turiya. And we all know now that the Turiya is the one which is actually the essence behind the deep sleep, Susupti, Swapna, the dream state, and awaken, the Jagrat state. We like to experience, we want to experience that Turiya state. Now, how do we do that? Is the question which is bothering. I want to reach the Turiya state. And how do we do that? In everything, if you look carefully, we have a knower and a known. Awakened state, the Jagrat state. We have the knower, we have the known. Prameya and Pramata, Drashta and Drishya. But look carefully now, the Turiya, which is the fourth state, which is not a separate state by itself. For example, take the gold and the ornament. You have the ring, we have the necklace, we have the bangle. And we say they're made of gold. So now what am I looking for as the gold as a separate state, like the ring, an object, like the bangle, or like the necklace, as if gold is another separate object. But gold is not. The gold is intrinsic quality of the ring, of the bangle, of the necklace. The gold is not separate. Similarly, is the Turiya state is not a separate state. So I want to experience it. All right. I want to experience it. Everybody wants to. The point is, understand, in the knower and the known in the waking state, can the knower know anything without the Turiya, without the consciousness? Turiya, consciousness, Atman, Brahman. Can I know anything if I am not conscious? So in the Jagrat state, similarly is with the known. I cannot know an object until unless the reflection of the consciousness of the knower and the known in both is absolutely present. Same thing is with the dream state. We have 4 states. 3 of them we talked about. The waker, the dreamer, the deep sleep. And we are looking at the 4th one as a separate state is the mistake. The 4th state is the essential power to the deep sleep, to the dream, to the awakened state. Without that Turiya, the Brahman, the Ishvara, the consciousness, as per Vedanta, Taittiriya Upanishad calls this as the definition of the Ishvara. We have gone over this, the best explanation of God we can ever have, to the point and absolutely precise. So, what does this lead to? The topic of the day today. Thanks to each one of you. And it's a divine blessing, which is the thanks to the gratitude to the Supreme, that we all have chosen to take up this journey and know more and more, and not a casual traveler, not a casual reader, not a casual listener. Shravanam has to be like, remember, not the inverted pot. If I pour something, it will just flow out. Not the right way pot, but there is a leak at the bottom. Whatever goes in, it leaks out. Neither the 3rd state given in the Vedanta, Shankaracharya is talking about it, that the pot does have some junk in it. As I put whether the milk or the holy water, it gets filled and polluted with the junk. Not like that. And each one of you are divinely blessed to have that grace to be aware and take up this journey. It's a beautiful, powerful question, must be bothering everyone. How do I know this Turiya? The point is, remember, a famous monk in Himachal Pradesh, in Himalayas, he says, Tum jano ya nahi jano. Whether you know it or you do not know it. Tum mano ya nahi mano. Whether you agree to it or you do not agree. Tum hi Ram. You are that Turiya. You are that consciousness is the Advaita is taking up. Remember Sankhya philosophy. Remember Dvaita. We just did in the last session. And this is Advaita. Not two. One alone exists. And I personally feel limited because I oriented myself to this body, a personality, which is the name and a form, and my mind. And I think this is who I am. So the moment I do that, I get limited. What happens with the limited? Suffering begins. Suffering. And begins. Remember, a little wave, Robbin Ghosh, is born on the Indian Ocean. and growing, having fun, playing around with the children and the people. And suddenly the friend says, "Hey, Robbin Ghosh, look at that line. I have limited myself by being a wave with a name and a form and my mind." I said, "Yeah, what is that line? Remember that application, so applicable here." He said, "That line is the shoreline." I said, "What happens there?" He said, "You're going there." I said, "Okay, what happens when I go there?" He said, "You die." I said, "Die? What is die? What will I become when I die?" He said, "You will not be a wave anymore, you'll be water. You and I will not be a body anymore, we will be consciousness. And this is called intrinsic quality and borrowed quality. Not mixing up. We'll come back to it just in a while." So I say, "I don't believe you. I'm a wave." I tell the world. I go to a funeral pyre, one of my friends, relatives, or somebody has died. I attend to the funeral, but I never think, most of us don't, that I could be there and my body could be burning one day or soon enough. We never think we are limited to, and because we are limited, we don't think we are limited, but we are limited, and suffering and sadness and COVID-19 and poverty and relationship problem. And I don't understand. I do understand. I learn very easily. I play very well. I don't play very well. Nobody understands me. Nobody loves me. But the moment you go beyond that, so a Vedantist wave comes in and says, "Hey, Robbin Ghosh, why are you looking sad?" I say, "You know that friend who went away just now? He told me I'm going to die there." Naturally, I don't like dying, so I'm not liking it. He says, "It is true." I said, "But I don't want to die." He said, "That is possible." I said, "Really? Tell me, what do I have to do?" He said, "Become water." I said, "What is water?" He said, "You are water. You and I are consciousness. You and I are Turiya. Only thing, jano ya nahi jano, mano ya nahi mano, tum hi Ram." We have to realize that status by these practices. And we will give you a little bit of practice toward the end of the session, which crystallizes the journey in a stepwise form through what we are practicing. Raja Yoga, the supreme of Raja Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Babaji's blessing through Paramahansa Yogananda, Teshwar Giri Lahiri Masai, and the Advaitavad of the Swami Vivekananda, Paramahansa Ramakrishna, and Divine Holy Mother Sharada. And Babaji, who's the master of both, and is the supreme realized masters. It is not exactly known, but it is believed to be 6,000 years plus. He is there in his body, and many of us have witnessed him. Over here, we are in that state. To become water. So what do you and I need to become? Become that state called Turiya, called the consciousness. I am the consciousness. Mano buddhi chitta ahankar na aham. Shankaracharya. Mano, I'm not my mind. I'm not my intellect, buddhi. I'm not my chitta, memory. And not my ego. Just imagine, what am I saying? What is Shankaracharya saying? I am not I. Ego is I, right? So now the wave, it says, okay, all right, so how do I not die? It says, become still. Remember in our prayers, take us from death to immortality. The moment we become aligned, Brahmavid, knower of Brahman, we become that knower, called in this metaphorically example speaking the water, which is the essential quality. Notice if I suck out the water from the wave does not stay. Even a little outline of the wave will not stay. The ocean, if I suck out the water, the ocean is gone. The consciousness, if it's taken away, it is gone. The consciousness is now coming back to the Jagrat state. It is knower and the known, Pramaya and Prameta in Sanskrit. It is there in the dreamer and the dream state. It is there in the deep sleep darkness state, whether the mind is not there, senses are not there, body is not there. But what is there is the consciousness alone. And that's why when you wake up, you say, I had a beautiful sleep. How do we know that? Consciousness was there. Now coming back to the fourth, which is called the Turiya. We have talked about it a little bit before, which you must have got in the morning, those of you who had time to go through it. The fourth state is counted as 4 through the Maya of the waker, dreamer, deep sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4. But actually speaking, it is actually in the sense that is for understanding through Maya. But truthfully, there is no fourth state. The only state, the only one alone exists is Tum Hi Ram, is the consciousness. That alone is now becoming the knower and the known in all 3 states. In the dark state of deep sleep too, becomes the knower, I had a good sleep. So, I want to experience it. All right, all that is technical philosophy. I want to experience the Turiya. Dear devotees, beloved Vedantist, you are experiencing it every moment of your life. Only thing, we don't know about it. We are unaware. We don't know. Remember the washerman and the diamond? He didn't know. And he was using it for polishing. You and I using the consciousness for what? Tasting, talking, having fun, doing an April Fool joke, maintaining relationship as a father or the mother, as a husband or a wife, as the children to the parent, as the friends, as an official colleague. We are making journey towards making money and working hard, utilizing schematically, just minuscule of that power of the consciousness. The moment we become the knower of this Brahman, you have infinite possibility. You have to just think of it. It is said in the Vedanta, when you do not tell lies for 12 years minimum, establish truth, Satya Pratishtha, then when you have a thought and you read about Prahlad and about Rama and about Arjuna, God himself will come and grant you that wish. And it is there in every religion. You've heard about Muhammad and he was being chased. His enemies wanted to kill him and he was with his favorite friend and disciple, and Muhammad found one cave. He said, let's go into the cave. His disciples said, but we are only 2 with so many soldiers behind. What can we do by going into the cave? Muhammad said, we are not 2, we are 3. Don't forget, Allahu Akbar. And they went inside. As they went inside, from somewhere a spider came and put a mesh of net around the mouth of the cave. And the soldiers and all came. And they said, let's search this cave. And there Senapati, the leader, said, are you a fool? Can't you see the spider net? How can they go in without breaking the net? Let's not waste time. Come on. And they went off. See, the slightest of the wish which you get as a Brahmavid, even in the journey towards knowing, you would know that your wishes are coming true. You would realize it, and you would smile an inner smile and be grateful for the grace of the Supreme Brahman, which is you. And you are utilizing that power of the consciousness in Dvaitavad, in Sankhya philosophy, called Sankhya, God, and we are part of God. In Dvaita, God is up there, theistic religion. We are down here, we are fragile, we are weak, and God is all powerful, supreme. And in Advaita, there is only one. So look at a pyramid, a mountain. Theistic religion of all, church, mosque, temples of all kind, is climbing. And God is up there. You go to the temple climbing mountains and all, no? Vaishnu Mata, Durga Mata, wherever we have. And in Advaita says one thing. We have doubts that God exists, lack of faith, or blind faith. No, my book says so, my guru says so, I have to have faith. Sure, beautiful, have faith, bhakti. But most people don't, and they have doubts. And they say, my prayers don't work. Gurudev, you pray, your prayers will work, you're closer to God. Not true. Paramahansa Yogananda was approached with a lady with the same thing. Please pray for my son. He's got 104 temperature for 6 days. Heal him, Gurudev. Paramahansa Yogananda said, why aren't you praying? He said, sir, Gurudev, my prayers don't work. Your prayers will. He said, Gurudev said, do you know, I used to be at your place too, but I didn't give up. I kept on praying, knowing that it will work. So that knowingness through the Advaita approach is through your own consciousness, through the own Ishvara. You are now knowing I am the water in the wave. I am the water in the ocean. I am the essential quality. I become silent. I become still. Imagine the wave becomes still. The gold ornaments know I am gold. Automatically, I see every other wave, every personas, characters, or living, non-living. Nothing can exist without Allah, God's grace, without the Supreme Brahman's grace. I am the knower, I am the known. I am the Turiya, I am the consciousness. Let's share a few slides and then we shall get on to where and how do we get to our Turiya, and I want to experience it. We have gone over Turiya the fourth, counting through Maya, Swapna, Susupti. Turiya is the only one. Brahman, Anantam. Anantam, little bit of just being aware of the knowledge, of the Advaita knowledge. No Antam, no limit, infinity. Limited, Desha, Kala, Vastu. Remember a little while ago we talked about intrinsic quality and borrowed quality. In Vedanta, in Advaita, the borrowed quality is called false. So, we are false, we are the dream state, which is false state. When we are in deep sleep state, dream state, and awakened state. He said, do you mind? This body, how can this be false? There is this huge mountain in front, how can it be false? But look carefully. Then Prameta, Pramaya, knower and the known. If my consciousness is not with me, can I experience this body, this mountain, this world, this universe, my friends, my people, my relationship? No, we can't. That is called borrowed quality. Hot potato, recollect, is hot because it has taken its heat from the hot water. It's borrowed quality. The hot water has got its heat from the hot pan, the hot pan from the hot fire. All a borrowed quality, but fire has intrinsic quality. It is not going away. As long as fire is alive, it will be hot. So the only consciousness, Turiya, alone is the intrinsic in Advaita. One alone exists and the others not. And we get limited by, we have spoken about it last time, Deshakala Vastu. Every entity that we know has a beginning and has an end, borrowed quality. Womb to tomb, remember? So, 1945, 2030. End, tomb, written. Object and space and the time has limits, but they don't apply to the consciousness, to the Turiya state. We come into the experiences of jnanam, of the object and the consciousness. Anything which is not anantam, it's not consciousness. Advaitam, anantam, sarvavyapi, everywhere present, right now, here. Aren't we? Tumhiram. Talk to yourself again and again throughout the day. Whatever we do, you will notice in the dualistic religion, most of the monks, most of the devoted, before you eat your food, you give it to God and then take it as prasadam. Same thing, make it every moment of your life. First moment of the consciousness as you're waking up. Pray. Express your gratitude to God, Allah, Christ, whoever you think, Krishna, Divine Mother, Jal, Pani, Tanni, you in French, water, or up in Persian. I just learned this new name. Anything, it's all water. So every experience is different from the other. Every jnanam, but knowledge one thing, Mandakya Upanishad, knowledge cannot be there. I cannot know something unless there is consciousness. So an experience is what? Little bit offshoot, but it's very important for us to build up the foundation strong. Any experience has to have an object and has to have consciousness. When I say I know this computer has to be there and I have to be conscious to be aware of this. How do we teach the inexpressible, the infinite, unlimited being? We will go over this. First, becoming aware. First, becoming knower with the absolute logic of the modern day, of the hard facts of consciousness. Remember, Australian philosopher, Dr. Chappell, we take on that knowledge and the consciousness with which we take on the journey. So, going into, so we have gone over this little technical term, adhyaro apabada. What appears to be the body and the mind in reality is actually the consciousness, the Sat Chit Ananda. Sat is the existence. We say, I exist, you exist. We say consciousness doesn't exist because I cannot perceive it. With what? Only the five senses can't perceive it. But you cannot work with the five senses unless there is consciousness. So what is it like? I'll just soon come to an example. This one alone exists. What appears to be soul, the nature. Swami Vivekananda says this word here. Swami Vivekananda says, one alone exists, what appears as nature and soul. One alone, Tum Hi Ram, Mandakya Upanishad. This light is limited. recollecting, little bit of light falls on everything. The holy water doesn't become holy. The dirty water doesn't become dirty. The wine pitcher doesn't become drunk. It falls on everyone. There is no limitations at all. And whatever is the seer has seen the world. There's a beautiful statement again in the Himalayas. Whoever has seen this samsara, this suffering, with a shant man, peaceful mind, that peaceful mind is the journey to experience the Turiya. We are going on to Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahme Vanaparaha. The truth alone is that consciousness, the Turiya, in which we are immersed. It reminds me of that beautiful statement given by one of the Westerner philosophers. A fish does not know what is water. And you and I are unconscious of our consciousness. Advaita is bringing this field to tell us about the infinite self which is within us, and not that we are limited by this body and the mind and the name and the form. So, Turiya going into on all 5 states of the senses of learning. Look at it. We have the words limitations. Why can't we express Turiya or the Brahman in words? We can taste it. It is, as per Katha Upanishad, it is unknowable. And it goes on to say, but you can know it better. It is unknowable, but you can know it better. How is that? So the answer is very simple, and most of the children come out with the answer very quickly. Can you come with it? What is that which you do not know, but you can know? And the answer by Katha Upanishad, it is us. We know about ourselves, we know, but little bit. And it is knowable. So we should not go away with the thought that it is unknowable. Now it is knowable. And it has to be known through the practices that we are talking about. There's words cannot express it, as Shankaracharya had explained. Jati, guna, activity, class, and the convention. These things are a little technical, but very simple. Jati, it is like, let's say you talk about a cow. Anybody of the cows, you can say this is another cow. Or guna, red rose, quality. You know, when I say, show me that white rose, you know which one am I talking about. But where is the guna? Nirgun is Brahman. Where is the class? There is class, meaning there has to be 2. But there is only one alone. So they cannot be. Activity, like you say, call the chef, call the driver, the parked car is parked. Call who? Who am I calling? And by convention, let's say you say, this girl should be named Tara. You have to point at this girl. Which one are you going to point at to say this should be called Turiya or this should be called Brahman? There is nothing to point at. And sambandha, relationship, has to be 2. Father and the son, guru and the disciple, husband and the wife, friend. They have to be 2. There are no 2. The moment Brahman is the Sat, existence. What is the opposite of the existence? Another one is not existent. It doesn't exist. So now, the gold and the ornament, we've gone through this, and going through the experiences, we can hear, you see something visual. We see so many things, the carpet, the chair, the table, the people. But all those different objects are through the little experience of the light coming at a tiny spark of a light through the cornea, going into the neurons and the synapses, forming. And nobody knows now in the Western science, excepting the Vedanta tells you, that it forms and gives you a first person experience of that rose. Google car being driven may be better than me, better than you, but both stop to the traffic light. As the traffic light changes into green and you start moving, Google car may be driving better, but you have a first person experience. Take another example. Doesn't have to be a Google car, automated today. You go to the airport, door opens up. There is no first person experience. Put your hand under the tap, the water starts to flow. First person experience. You experience that water differently when you are getting into. This is the visual. All the visuals are coming through the eye to the one consciousness alone. Only one alone is all that you have seen till now, is going to see, is through one consciousness. Same thing with the hear. You hear many things, the songs and the movies and the conversations. You read yourself, Shravanam, reflecting, Mananam, listening to the Omkar, many things, but all going into through one ear, through the one consciousness we are realizing. Same thing is the touch, taste, and smell. So, this earth is limited through the, you can see the earth is illuminated by the moonlight. But the moon is a borrowed experience, is a borrowed quality of the sun. Moon doesn't have its own light. Earth, we say moonlight. But notice one thing, just like the consciousness is illuminating every activity, every experience that you can ever perceive of, but consciousness is remaining unseen. Same here, sun is unseen. Moon is throwing the light, and we say this is beautiful moonlight. Today is 14th February, Lovers' Day all over the world. And yet we do not experience through the consciousness of this experience. It's because of the consciousness that we experience each other, feel, love, care, compassion, whatever. So, sun remains invisible. So does the consciousness, the Atman. Illuminate all awareness, all experiences. The consciousness remains invisible to us. We remain unconscious of our consciousness. So, towards the end, tum jano ya nahi jano, tum mano ya nahi mano, tum hi ram. With this, we will go on to our limited exercises of the meditation. It will be a short one like we had done. You have to practice it because of the paucity of the time. We will go over the steps. You prolong the step as you are doing the practice. So sit appropriately, properly, listen out. I'll be calling out. Close your eyes. Dhyana mudra, Jnana mudra, right over left. Legs across comfortably in the chair or on the ground, wherever you are right now. Focus, concentrate on everything that you hear, my voice and others. There's such loud Omkar Dhwani going around. Many of you must be listening. Om Jai Guru. Focus, concentrate, and recollect. Bring up the awareness of whatever we have seen before we close the eyes. In that presence, wherever you are. Be aware of the people around you, if there are some, or those who were. Be aware of your body, of your mind, of your name and form. Mano buddhi chitta ahankar, na aham. So what am I? Who am I? Begin with the process. Experience your toe. Experience the ankles. Be aware of your legs. Be aware of your torso, the body. Be aware of the hands. Be aware of your posture of the neck, of the eye, the nose, the ears. Be aware of your touch sensation and smell. Be aware of the smell through the nostril. Be aware of the third eye between the eyebrow. Be aware of the thoughts coming onto the pool of the mind on the top of the lake, like a bubble. A vritti bus from the past sanskar brings in a thought. Valentine's Day. This thought, this vritti of Valentine's Day coming into my awareness because of the consciousness light throwing into that vritti through the reflective consciousness onto my mind. Become aware of the light. Take your mind off the vritti, whatever thoughts came. Focus on the mind to transfer to the light now. Consciousness, awareness, Turiya, Brahman, Main Hi Ram is illuminated Jyoti Jyoti, Suprabhav. I am completely detached from body, mind, people, objects. I am on that light, the consciousness alone. Stay focused on the light. Any thoughts come, do not pay attention to the thought, but throw the light onto the thought and pay attention to the light of consciousness. I am that Turiya. I am that consciousness. That small I is the mind and the body and the personality. This is the big I. Infinite I. I am that water in the ocean. every other living, non-living around me is that consciousness. Chidananda Rupaham Shivoham Shivoham. Take a deep breath. Progressively come out through the consciousness light to the vritti, to the thought, to the mind, to the eye, nose, ear, mouth, smell. To the body, to the arms, to the legs, to the toe. Bring your awareness back to all the auditory sound around, the visuals, the smell, the touch, the taste. And now know none of these were possible unless I had the consciousness, unless I am the Turiya. The mountain doesn't exist unless I'm conscious of the mountain. Which came first, the mountain or the consciousness? The consciousness is ever pervading, ever present, sarvavyapi, anantam, na antam, always present. And as you proceed to consciousness awareness through Sat, the existence alone exists as the computer, as the dog, as the dolphin, as the mountain, as me, as my people around. Chit is the consciousness with which I perceive the objects. And I perceive the ananda, the joy of being with the consciousness. With the calmness, I am the water. Sat Chit Ananda. Wish to open your eyes, rub your palm, open at your own palm. Question time. You have any questions? Please.
Jai Guru. Jai Guru.
Show me that back to.
Raja here.
Yes, Raja. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. So what is the difference between Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi?
It's a very good question. It's a technical question. The basic understanding is in the Savikalpa and the Nirvikalpa. In the Nirvikalpa, you and the Brahman are absolutely one. In the Savikalpa, you are on the journey. The milestones are still there. You are leaving one part of the you, and that consciousness of the body and the mind, it goes away for a while. So you are aware, not like Nirvikalpa, in which you are the knower. I am the water. I'm not the wave, not the ocean, not the bubble, not the froth. You totally know. And now at the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Paramahansa, He is still operating with everyone, with Swami Vivekananda, with Brahmananda and everyone, and he sees in them, and yet he knows he is, but he performs. But the basic understanding, Roger, it's a very good question. Good question to search within, to find out and attain that, like the taste of a mango. We have to taste it and to understand it. Till the time we do, what happens is this becomes, understand it this way, mere theoretical knowledge. Theories are okay for, putting into jargons and dogmas. This is what it means. It is like the how many mango trees, Paramahansa Ramakrishna's example. It does not matter. What we have to do is what I'm hearing many of you, especially Vijay and many of you, want to taste the Turiya. That supreme Turiya is the Nirvikalpa, is the ultimate journey, where you may choose, and it is written down in Vedanta, that if 23 days, if you stay in Turiya, you cannot come back in Nirvikalpa Samadhi to come back to this body. So there are processes, beautiful anecdotal stories are there for all of us. We have to take up the journey and understand it better. It is, let me give you one very simple, beautiful story. 4 people going around a huge wall. They know inside there is something beautiful. So they climb on each other's shoulder, and one person goes to the top and sees, and as he sees, he says, oh, and he falls inside that side of the wall. Did not tell these people what he saw. The second man does the same thing, climbs up, short of one person's length of height, manages to go, and again, and he falls on the other side. The 2 persons left now. Second one also is helped with pushed up. He also goes. He also falls off. He doesn't want to come back. The last person, he goes up. He somehow manages to climb and sees, and he chooses to come back and tell the rest of the people of the world what he has tasted. Yours and my journey today is not the technical detail of this, but that as we taste and see the purification and the beauty, a beautiful question, we are very eager to taste. Come back, take the rest of the people with you, like most of our masters have done it, who lived very short time. Shankaracharya, 32 years. At the age of 16, he was going to leave. Vivekananda, 38, 39. And happy journey. Does that question answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
This is Swapnadeep. Santosh, you want to ask?
You can ask.
I can?
Yeah.
Okay. This is pertaining to the discussion that we had today and the discourse that you sent it today morning that we heard on Turiya. So, in a nutshell, I just want to refresh myself by saying what I understood by Turiya is that it is a phrase that you often use is man ki par chalo. So is Turiya actually the man ki par chalo? Because Turiya is not it's a fictitious state. It is prevalent in all the 3 stages that we talk of. So and how do we evolve in these 3 stages are through our mind. So if I have to go to the Turiya stage, then I have to go beyond my mind. Is my understanding correct?
It is absolutely true. Man ki par chale jao, as they say in the Himalayas. The mind is an object, as per Vedanta. So are thoughts. So are our love and reflections. They are all an object. What is an object? anything that you call this, if I say this, so you have a love thought, an angry thought, these are all properties of mind. Peaceful mind or agitated mind, they're all qualities. The which is not an object cannot have a quality. To do that, the Brahman state, the Turiya state, yes, we have to go beyond the mind. And the various processes that we are practicing through this very powerful Vedantic meditation. In the, you notice in the yogic meditation, the process, we say, if the TV is disturbing, switch off the TV. If that person, man or a woman, is distracting you or disturbing you or enticing you or attracting you, they say, don't see them, cut off the relationship. Samsara is objecting towards this journey, leave the samsara, go off to the mountain and live in a cave. So Vivekananda is saying, those who have left the samsara and gone off to the mountain cave to meditate and search for God and die has missed the way, missed the boat. He said, those who stayed back and plunge in headlong into the samsara and forget about the existence of the consciousness, they too have missed the boat. So then what is the way? Be there where a supreme consciousness, Brahman, God, Divine Mother, in Swaguna Brahman, in Dvaita and Advaitavad, whichever way you wish to proceed, or a combination of all. As you see, we practice all of them together. There, you be there, but be there like the monkey who lets go, the water who knows that I am not this, I'm something else. And you keep your connection through the Samadhi state from the, you may call it, it is not another rim, it is the one and alone, but you are going from another rim, from the body-mind consciousness to no body, no mind consciousness.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
Santosh.
Jai Guru, sir.
Jai Guru.
Santosh, yes.
Yes, Santosh.
Sir, in one of the slides today, there was a statement saying that Mandukya Upanishad is not interested in Turiya. If you could please explain this.
Very good observation. Yes. Mandukya Upanishad is not interested in Turiya. What it means, Mandukya Upanishad is trying to take us across not to a state like I'm a weekend, I am wakeful state. I am Jagrata, I am Jage Hue Hain. That is the state. Similarly, I'm a dreamer in the dream state. I am a deep sleeper in the deep sleep state. I am in Turiya state. No, it is not interested. Why? Because everything is Turiyam. So, not interested in Turiya, that statement means it's not a fourth state. It is it. Everything is Turiyam, is Brahman, is consciousness. Does that bring little clarity?
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other question?
It's 12 o'clock.
Okay, so we got a warning there. Let's finish with our beautiful journey on this Valentine's Day. Remember to express, like the Saint Valentine, express your love and devotion to the poorest of the poorest, to the destitutes of the destitute, to your parents, your partner, your children, to your friends, to your colleagues, and importantly, not to forget the Turiya within you, the Brahman within you. Be aware of this Brahman, the Turiya state, whatever we do, we don't forget, I'm a man, I should behave like this, or I'm a woman, I should behave and sit like this. We must take up the journey to be aware of being in Turiya in every pace, time, and place. With our gratitude to the Supreme Divine Mother, Advaita Brahman, Brahma-rupi Mother, all the gods and goddesses of all religion, to Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, to prophets of all religion, the Mahavatar Babaji, the deathless master, Kalpa Yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda Yukteswar Giri Lahiri Mase, Sri Sri Swami Vivekananda, Holy Mother Sharada, Paramahansa Ramakrishna. May we have their grace and the blessings. May we have no conflicts in our mind. May we be blessed to see everyone with love, with compassion, with kindness. May we not look at the faults of other people. If you have to see the fault in your own self and rectify it and become that consciousness. Hold on to truth, Satyameva Jayate, alone, and bring in purity. With the prayers, Viveka, Vairag, may be showered upon us. Shama Dama Uparati, Samadhana, Titiksha, Shraddha, with mumukshatta, not give up. Akasha Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Vayu Shanti, Agnyaya Shanti, Jalaspataya Shanti, Gaur Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Uttaradisha Shanti, Paschimaya Shanti, Purvadisha Shanti, Dakshinaya Shanti. Om Chittaha Shanti, Om Manaha Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Guru.